Greetings lords and ladies, and welcome to the Westeros vibe, where a Maester Conspiracy is likelier than you'd think. Before we start, I would like to remind you that links to every article or video covered this week can be found in a video description below. Also in the description you will find timestamps, so that you can choose which stories you will want to view. We start off the week with Game of Thrones nominated for a major editing award, up for People's Choice Awards. Game of Thrones has been nominated for an Eddie, and the winners will be announced on the 29th. The show has also been nominated for the People's Choice Awards for Favorite TV Show and Favorite Sci-Fi Fantasy Show, losing to The Big Bang Theory and Outlander. Emilia Clarke has also been nominated for Best Sci-Fi Fantasy TV Actress, also losing to Catriona Balfe. This next story may contain spoilers, so be careful. Did Natalie Dormer just hint at Jon Snow's return to Game of Thrones? On Jimmy Kimmel Live, Natalie gave the following statement. I stopped reading other people's storylines. I only read the scripts relevant to Marjorie. It's annoying sometimes because I'll be in the hair and makeup trailer and someone will show up and I'll be like, what are you doing here? Oh my god, you're back? I've got to leave. Who did she meet? Myrcella? Jon Snow? Only time will tell. Next up we have George R. Martin and the Winds of Winter, the case for a co-author. In this opinion piece, Chris Taylor supports this case using examples of known and respected authors getting help from others in an attempt to finish their work quicker. The likeliest candidate is, of course, Elio Garcia, who alongside Linda runs Westeros.org and have an almost encyclopedic knowledge of the book universe. If you are interested in the issue, feel free to read the entire article, link down below. Moving on to HBO New Year deal for Game of Thrones Season 7 and 8. There is as yet no new information about this, however it is almost certain that 8 will be the number of seasons run by David and Dan, as they mentioned before in interviews. In other news, George R. Martin may release new Game of Thrones book chapters before the show returns. Following last week's announcement from George that Winds of Winter is nowhere near finished in time for the 6th season, the fandom has been nothing but supportive with its feedback. Alongside all of the positive feedback, there were some questions, one of which being, are you considering releasing any more chapters from Winds of Winter ahead of the book release? Perhaps something that would inform book readers of spoilery topics that may be reached in the show? To which George responded with, possibly, but please, this is off topic, we're talking audiobooks here. Judging by his track record of one chapter release per year, we may get to see another one in a few months' time. Next up we have, joining Game of Thrones is a dream come true for Pilu Aspek, Euron. In an interview with Digital Spy, Pilu said the following. I must say I'm a big fan of the work that Dan and David have created with Game of Thrones, and George the writer of course. It was great fun being part of a TV series that I'd been a fan for 5 years. I've been watching it every single Monday with my wife. It was like a ritual. Every Monday night on HBO Nordic we would watch Game of Thrones together. Hopefully his Euron Greyjoy will be our dream come true too. Moving on to HBO CEO on the Winds of Winter delay and the Jon Snow heavy marketing strategy for Season 6. The CEO in question is Richard Plepler, and his statements are as follow. Firstly, about the Winds of Winter delay and the effects on the show. I always knew that given the relationship that David and Dan had with George, and the closeness and respect that they have for each other, that if they overtook the books or not, there would be a synchronic and organic conversation going on between them. That they would never do anything that would violate George's sense of the integrity of the story, and I think that's absolutely true. The relationship is such a wonderful thing to observe, the mutual respect that they have for each other, that I know George would say, I trust these guys moving this arc forward. I would only say that that's going to be up to David and Dan to determine where they take the story in concert with George, but everyone is very excited about the continuum. I think when you see even the first episodes of the new season, you'll see how much life and dynamism there is in the story. On the subject of the Jon Snow poster and trailer time, he said, "I give all the credit to our marketing team. Basically, of course, we're always looking to remind the audience of how exciting and dynamic the programming is, and I think that they felt correctly that this was a great titillation for the new season, and it certainly is proven so, as you see by the social traffic on that." In other news, HBO confirms April premiere date for Game of Thrones. The due date is April 24th. Set your countdown timers, people, it's happening. Next up we have further Winds of Winter tidbits from George R. R. Martin's Not a Blog. This article contains a few answers pertaining to the Winds of Winter from George's blog. The question and answers are: will we see more chapters from the book released ahead of its publication? Possibly. Is there a chance of HBO delaying the 6th season until the book's publication? No chance. That much was made obvious when HBO announced the premiere date at the DCAs this week. Will Roy Dotrice narrate the audiobook for The Winds of Winter? Depends on recording schedule and Roy's other commitments. Has Martin considered splitting the book into 2 parts in order to accelerate publication? That would not be my preference. Given what happened when he split Dance into Feast Dance, that's understandable. Moving on to the lands of YouTube, we have a veritable flood of videos to mention this week. Radio Westeros have released an episode dedicated to Prophecy in the Song of Ice and Fire universe, including Mirri Maz Duurs, Batch Faces, Quates, and so much more. OutShiftX has released a video discussing the Grand Maester Conspiracy of Westeros. Vassals of Kingsgrave have released the next part of their reread, covering the chapters of September 298. Rad Team Review has released a video discussing the Winds of Winter delay. Emergency Awesome has released a video talking about the Season 6 release date, which has been announced this week. Preston Jacobs has released the second part of his Faceless Man discussion series. That was the news for the week ending on January 10th. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please like, share, comment and subscribe. And stay tuned. Goodbye everyone.